First of many.
First of many.
Oh,
Okay. Well, get yourself comfortable.
oh yeah. Oh
Hey
Okay.
everybody, how you doing? Welcome to the class today. My name is Matthias Moreau, and this is my great buddy Matthew. Anyways, we're gonna have some awesomeness fun today. Don't say awesomeness is not a word. Don't listen to him. But anyways, it's gonna be so freaking cool. You guys, oh my gosh. Intro.
Okay, hello everybody. Welcome again to these interviews that we're having. We're gonna have a very special one this time. You're gonna be meeting one of my best friends ever. Everybody, let me introduce you to Matthew Miner. Hello, Matthew.
Hey, it's a privilege. Best friends. Hey,
Absolutely.
likewise, my
it?
friend.
You doubt it?
Not at all. Everything we've been through, probably not. No.
Thank you, first of all, for accepting to do this with me.
Yeah, of course.
This is one of the first interviews that I'm doing, but my plan is to have some more. So probably this will be the first or the second of many interviews that I'm planning to
Man,
make. Yes.
first of many.
Yeah. Well, let's see how it goes. And first of all, I would like my students or anyone else to hear about your experience learning Spanish. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that? How was it?
Yeah, in English, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Where do I start?
Where are you from exactly?
So I was born and raised in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Mm-hmm.
And yep. Right now I'm living in a park called Spanish Fork with my wife and my two kids.
Mm-hmm. How old are you now?
26.
20?
26.
26.
Yeah.
Right. When is your birthday?
420, April 20th.
Why was it that you had to learn Spanish?
I had to learn Spanish because I served a mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter Saints, and yeah, I was called to serve there for 2 years, and so in Buenos Aires,
which is where we met.
Yep.
Uh-huh. Do you remember those
San
days?
Pedro. Oh yeah, like it was yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Time flies.
Yeah, you were 18 back then, right?
Yeah, 18. I was there from when I was 18 to 20.
Mm-hmm.
So wow, I left 6 years ago. Yep.
What are those memories?
I knew that learning a language would be challenging, but like I think I didn't really know what was in for me, right? When I first went out. But I mean, the people, and then obviously that's where we met. And yeah, like I loved it. And just the food, fell in love with the culture. But at first it was so hard wanting to interact with people and just like actually get to know them on the next level, and just being like, oh, like I can't even understand what this guy's saying. Like he seems nice, he's invited us to come in and eat food at their house, but like, I can't even, besides say like, hey, I need to go to the bathroom or I'm thirsty and hungry, like
Yeah, I remember
but
your level of Spanish was like very, very basic back then. And I remember you like struggling with that, like
oh
on the
yeah,
one hand, like really wanting to
oh
interact
yeah.
with others, but it wasn't,
Just not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just not being able to. Yeah. I mean, I didn't even know all of my colors. I didn't know the difference between right and left and straight. That's another story.
There was
Yeah.
a confusion between straight and right in Spanish, right?
Yeah. And I think it caused a little bit of pain for both of us. Oh yeah.
That was really confusing. Derecho or
Yeah.
derecha. You thought it was the same thing.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, that's how I learned that day.
and I
Yep.
understand why. Yes. I remember we used to get together like in the mornings, like almost every day, so that we could practice a little bit of Spanish, right?
Yeah. No, having you in my first area was like a miracle. I definitely like, yeah, like I was gonna take all the help I could get, and I feel like just at first I feel like none of it was like absorbing. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. That was your first days here in Argentina, and you spent here a couple of months, probably like what, 3 months, probably 3, 4.
Yeah, 3 months. Yes,
Mhm.
two transfers, 3 months.
Yes, and then I didn't get to see you for a few months, you know, until we
Yeah,
talked
I
again. It was near the end
yeah
of your mission, so that was like, let's say, a year and a half after that. I remember you called me and you were talking to me in Spanish, and I didn't know who you were. And you made me guess. You were like, Hey, you don't know, you don't remember me? ¿No te acordás quién soy?" Like, a ver, habla un poco más." Remember that I said that until I realized it was you, but it was very hard to recognize you because you were speaking like an Argentinian back then already. You know,
right.
your progress had been so amazing. So, what did you do? What made you go from like really struggling with the language to really like really speak it in a very good way, like sounding very close to a native speaker. That was really amazing. What did you do? What is it that you applied in your practice, or maybe the way you, I don't know. What was it?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I feel like the answer isn't really what anyone wants to hear because it's just like it's nothing overnight. It's really not.
Mm-hmm.
But what sped up the process and what was slowing it down at the beginning was number one, being so hard on myself, you know, like if I'm being negative and like giving myself such a hard time for not being fluent in the language that like I'm just barely learning, like I didn't have realistic expectations and like I didn't see the little wins along the way and I didn't celebrate those. And the negativity caused more stress and more harm. And mentally, when you're in that mental state, like not only mentally, you can't even like think straight in your own language, but like imagine trying to learn another language on top of that, right? So I think when I got to the point where I was like, you know what, like, hey, if I'm gonna be here for 2 years and my Spanish still sucks super bad, like, fine, it's whatever. Like, I'll at least say that I gave it my all. But the most important thing is just like having to learn how to be with the people and love the people, and if they can feel my love, and like, I finished with what purpose was here, then you know what, then that's what matters. So I think when I started to not be so hard on myself, and people are really hard mainly because they compare themselves to others, which I was, I would compare myself to other people that were, there a little bit longer or around the same time, or even people that were there like not as long as me that I felt like were speaking better than me. And I would just, it's like, why why their success should like bring me down, you know what I'm saying? So it's like
Absolutely.
as soon as I learned how to just, and it's harder, it's like it's easier than it's easier said than done. But to not really care, like, yeah, just like don't care about anything else, like just focus on you, enjoy the little wins. And not only that, but having to learn how to like laugh at myself, which is another
That's
thing.
right.
Like,
Yes.
like at first I'd make a mistake and I'd be like, like, oh, like be stressed and so mad.
allowing
And now,
I think allowing yourself, allowing ourselves to make mistakes, that is really important. And also having
yeah,
fun, you know.
yeah. I mean, that's like literally the only way that you're gonna learn a language is like if you can have fun with it. Like
Mhm.
I still do. Like we just had an episode today where I was like, whoa, I've been saying that wrong the whole time and no one's corrected me, and just laugh about it.
Exactly.
And
Instead of torturing yourself for not knowing or for making a mistake, it happens and you fix it and you move on. I think that's what I noticed. That's what you started doing, like starting to connecting more with people, trying to connect with them and enjoy the moment. And I think that leaving the grammar, on one side and really, connecting and focusing on interacting with others, I think that was kind of like the beginning of the change, for you. You started more like learning the language, started like living the language. I think that would
Yeah,
be one way to define it. You started living the language instead of like really like studying the language as if it was some kind of science that you had to really comprehend, you know.
yeah, yeah. And I think living the language is an absolute decision and a desire because like for example, like you were born and raised in Argentina and you like probably speak English better than I can sometimes. Like it's all about your desire and like wanting to immerse yourself. Like some people think like oh, like yeah, if I just go live in the United States or in Canada or in England or wherever, like for 6 months and just breathe in the English air, like I'll be speaking English. And it's like, no, like it doesn't work like that, you know? Like I know people that have like lived 2 years in a native, like in a Latin country
Mhm.
that don't speak as well as people that learned Spanish here in the US, in the States. And it's all because of their desire and their determination and just their love for the culture and the love to be able to like kind of connect on the next level, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because there's a difference between wanting to just kind of like get by and there's a difference between wanting to be like I want to dive in with this culture, like I want to dive in with these people, like I want to be equal to them, like with any like with a conversation, you know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it worked really well on you, you know. And because of that, because you really got to a very good level of Spanish, as I said before, ending up speaking the language, even with our accent, sounding basically like an Argentinian. And even though time has passed and maybe your accent has been affected by being surrounded by uh,
For sure.
Spanish native
Yeah.
speakers from other countries, Mexico, etc. I think
Yeah.
this would be a good time to show everybody how you speak Spanish. So let's do this. Why don't you talk about what you did right after your mission when you went back home, you know, like what you did, who you met, family and all that. Why don't you tell that part in Spanish? Maybe that would be interesting.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, como dijo Matías, como, ya, es verdad, antes yo hablaba como súper, súper porteño y como un argentino, pero tengo amigos de Chile, tengo amigos de Puerto Rico, de Venezuela, de Colombia, de todos lados. Y también mis suegros son de México y aquí en los Estados Unidos, como hay gente de mucho latino de varios países, pero el hecho de que México está pegado con los Estados Unidos, como que especialmente aquí en California, aunque yo vivo en Utah, en California hay un montón de mexicanos, entonces después de tiempo mi acento iba cambiando. Hasta, por ejemplo, hoy fue súper chistoso, estuve trabajando y yo trabajo en una compañía que se llama Bright Power, es una compañía de los paneles solares, ¿no? Ese tipo de vidrio que ponen encima de los techos para ahorrar dinero en la factura de la utilidad de la luz, porque California es es un estado súper carísimo. Pero bueno, hoy estuve trabajando con mi amigo de Venezuela y fuimos a la casa de un mexicano y no podía, como que tengo la pinta americano, pero mi acento es una mezcla y no estaba bien confundido. Pero él sí se nota un poco el acento argentino y entonces ya, es una mezcla y para mí está bien porque no soy de Argentina, no soy de México, no soy de Venezuela
Claro,
y nunca voy a ser de ningún país latino, entonces, bueno, si hablo mezclado, hablo mezclado. Y la
no hay ningún
verdad es
problema.
chistoso porque, sí, porque es chistoso porque cuando yo estoy con un colombiano o un mexicano o un argentino, sin querer comienzo a hablar un poquito como ellos. No como
Claro,
estoy tratando de imitar a esas personas, no nada
o se
así, solo es como que
contagia.
se contagia.
Sí, sí, sí.
Exacto, ya. Entonces, pero no, ya, cuando estuve ahí en Argentina por 2 años, creo que llegué a un nivel bueno, eh, fluido, como podía comunicarme, pero igual me faltaba mucho vocabulario, o sea, y no solo esto, pero solo sabía cómo hablar en usted y en vos, y no sabía nada de tú. Entonces, cuando
Ah,
regresé de aquí a
claro.
los Estados Unidos, ellos como, no es tú, es como, ok, vos tenés, no es
Hay
como
algo que
tú,
vos siempre haces, hiciste en aquel entonces, pero incluso lo seguís haciendo ahora, cuando aprendes una palabra nueva, ¿sí? Es algo que vos haces
ajá,
naturalmente. Cuando conoces una palabra nueva o una frase nueva, siempre buscas la oportunidad lo antes
anotarlo
posible, pero además de usarla. Como pasó,
también.
¿te acordás el día que yo dije que era un día lindo y despejado? Y vos me preguntaste, ¿qué es despejado? Y yo, ¿nunca escuchaste despejado? No, es como decir, no sé,
No,
the sky is clear, está despejado, o sea, no hay nubes. Y yo estaba como, qué extraño, no recuerdo haber nunca escuchado esa palabra. Y yo, bueno, no es tan, no es tan extraña. Pero la siguiente vez que hablamos, un par de días después, y como, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo va tu día? Bien, acá, un día muy lindo, con el cielo despejado, y enseguida usaste la palabra nueva. Y así lo haces con cada palabra nueva que aprendes, o frases
no,
nuevas.
¿verdad?
Y
Ya,
eso es muy buen consejo, y yo siempre trato de dar ese consejo. Cuando aprenden algo nuevo, que no quede ahí, que no quede ahí ni en el hecho de que lo vimos o anotado en una hoja. Hay que usarlo para que la mente tenga la oportunidad de
ya,
fijarlo, ¿no?
ujú,
Y eso es lo que vos haces
ya.
naturalmente y
Y,
siempre ha sido un buen ejemplo.
no, y yo creo que eso fue parte de mi problema en el comienzo cuando me mudé a Argentina, como anotaba tantas palabras, pero tenía tanto miedo para dejar la vergüenza y tratar de aplicarlas, como que el miedo me ganaba. Y si yo no
Claro.
lo estaba practicando, como me demoraba más tiempo para aprender una palabra y ya. Entonces, no, como por ejemplo aquí es verdad lo que dices, porque aquí en mi celular, oh, está borroso por el filtro, pero, pero
Sí.
bueno, tengo una lista enorme. Entonces, cada vez que encuentro una palabra nueva, lo voy anotando, por ejemplo, y sigo aprendiendo como
¿Cuál fue la palabra
cuando
de
fui
hoy?
hace
La palabra que aprendimos hoy.
reclutar. Yo estaba diciendo reclutar, porque en inglés es to recruit. Entonces yo
Sí.
decía reclutar y pensaba que estaba hablando bien, pero no, está mal dicho. Y luego tú me corregiste, me dijiste, no es reclutar, es reclutar, como alguna L ahí,
Ojo que es reclu.
reclutar,
Clu, no cool.
reclu,
Reclu. Sí.
Juan, cool, but-
Reclutar. Cuidado.
A ver, reclu,
Sí.
rec-
Reclutar.
reclutar, ok, ya,
Sí.
reclutar, ya,
Es un
como
poco un trabalengua, pero
es,
sí, es reclutar.
hace, hace 2 días no sabía county, no sabía cómo decir county, ¿no?
Condado.
Y condado, pero
Sí.
por ejemplo, candado,
Ah, pero eso es otra cosa.
ya. Entonces,
Condado,
es el,
candado.
ajá, candado, condado, ¿así?
Claro. O sea,
Ya,
condado es
county,
y candado.
block,
Ok, sí.
ya,
Muy bien.
ya. Entonces,
Qué cerca.
ya, no sabía y estaba en una casa con una familia latina y lo busqué rapidito y lo dije, y yo dije, no, eso no significa lock. Y yo, no, eso es candado, esto es condado. Oh,
Claro,
ok,
claro.
ya,
Nunca
ya.
había
O,
pensado que se parecen tanto.
ya,
No me
o
di cuenta.
también, y estuvimos hablando y él dijo la palabra carretilla
Ajá. Wheelbarrow.
y wheelbarrow. Y creo que aprendí esa palabra, pero no lo he usado en tanto tiempo como que lo tenía que buscar de
Sí, no,
nuevo
no
y
parece una
eso
palabra
sí
que
pasa.
usaríamos muy seguido igual, pero
No,
claro,
no. ¿Y
wheelbarrow.
sabe por qué hablamos de esa palabra?
¿Por
Es
qué?
porque, bueno, estuvimos estuvimos en la casa y eso fue como después cuando estuvimos terminando la venta, ya hemos ganado la confianza, todo ahí charlando tranquilamente y yo dije, oye, como si la mayoría de los vecinos son súper amables, menos la vecina ahí enfrente, ella es súper gruñona, ¿no? Entonces él me dijo, oh, ¿sí, en serio? Yo dije, sí, como ella me gritó, como toqué la puerta y salió como bien enojada, me gritó y me dijo muchas groserías, muchas cosas, entonces salí nomás. Y ella me dijo, oh, también ella me gritó. Y yo dije, ¿qué? ¿También? Me dijo, sí. Y me dijo, pues yo no hablo nada de inglés, me estaba gritando y no sabía lo que estaba pasando, pero sí, ahí estaba pasando mi, ¿cómo se dice? Carretilla. Estuve ahí pasando mi carretilla, haciendo mucho ruido y se enojó mucho conmigo, ¿no? Entonces cuando dijo carretilla,
Sí,
I was like, wait, what? I was like, that sounds like a car. Like, what is that? Like,
claro.
no carretilla,
¿Sabes?
wheelbarrow.
¿Conoces?
Like,
¿Conoces la palabra carreta?
la carreta.
La carreta. Como estos
No como,
carros,
no,
como un carro que tiran los caballos, por ejemplo.
oh,
Eso es una
okay.
carreta. Viene de carro, carreta y de carreta, carretilla. Es como si fuera una carreta chiquita. Más o menos, o sea, la raíz es la misma. De carro,
Oh,
carreta, carretilla.
carreta, carretilla,
Ajá. Cuando yo digo
carretilla.
carretilla
Yeah.
y vos ya estás diciendo carretilla, ya estás
Antes decía
me-
carretilla.
mexicanizado.
No, pero
Matthew,
lo chistoso es que yo creo que si yo pasaría como una semana en Argentina, sí o sí me volvería al acento. Seguro,
seguro, sí,
seguro,
sí.
seguro. Pero,
Escúchame, going back to English now. You
yeah,
already mentioned that you're working right now for a company. I forgot the name. What was it?
it's called brain power.
Brian, like the name Brian?
Brighton,
Oh,
B-R-Y.
Bright.
They spell it Bryton.
Okay, okay. Brighton Power.
Yeah,
And what you do is you sell what?
solar panels.
Solar panels. And you've been doing this for how
Yeah.
long?
I mean, I've been in the door to door sales industry for like almost 5 years now, but
Hmm.
solar's been about a year.
About a year. Yes. That's the reason why
Mhm.
you are in California right now, because that's where you're working.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah,
right?
yep,
Yeah. So how does it work? What do? You go to a house, you knock on the door, you introduce yourself.
yeah,
Yeah. You
yeah.
get there
I just
because of a reference, or you just go and meet
all the
people
above.
like that?
Yeah, I mean, when you first start a new neighborhood, you gotta start from ground zero, and then you start to meet people and create relationships and friends, and then from there you're able to find people that have solar that really like it, and then you can name drop them. And so yeah, like I'll kind of get a feel for the neighborhood.
Hmm.
I'll knock on a door, and a lot of people have already been spoken to, and so a lot of people have their guard up. And so when I first knock on the door, I'm like, "Hey, are you the homeowner?" Because I have to make sure they're the homeowner first. Because if they rent, then they can't make any decision to put solar
Of
up or not,
course.
right? So like, hey, you the homeowner? Let's say like, yeah, I'm the homeowner. And I feel like having to overcome the objection before they bring it up is something really important for them to actually like open up to me, and I can be like, hey, look, like, yeah, you don't need to talk to me all funny. Like I'm a real person. Like, let's just talk about the facts and get to the point, right? Like there's different markets where you need to like kind of be their friend at first, and there's other markets where they're just like, hey, dude, like just get to the point. So, but yeah, like I'll knock on the door, I'll be like, hey, look, are you the homeowner? Cool. Look, I'll be super brief. I know you guys get talked to all the time. It's so annoying. I know they come by all the
Hmm.
time, but look, the reason why we're coming by is I couldn't help but notice that you guys do have the solar panels. And then like I'll name drop someone, be like, hey, like, do you know your name? Do you know your neighbor family Maru right here on the corner? Oh yeah, I do. Cool, perfect. Here, like, yeah, let me just show you real quick, and then like step out of the home. Yeah, so they've got the solar panels. They're super happy, and you look like a straight shooter. I'm just gonna shoot you straight and save you time. I couldn't help but notice that you guys haven't gone yet. I know they come by a lot, but when's the actual like last time that you guys actually saw a proposal or like saw the savings, saw the design? Like when was that? Or have you guys even seen it?
Yeah.
And then from there, they're kind of be like, oh yeah, like we just haven't had time, or they're like, yeah, we've actually looked into it. We're just shopping around, or and then from there, just yeah, I mean, just be friends with people, like figure out what their problem was, what their concern is, where their pain point is. They're probably paying a lot. What motivated them to want to look into solar, and then from there, try to set up an appointment or get in the house and build them a proposal on the spot, and
And
save them money.
I suppose it's really convenient right now to make the change, to get energy from solar
Yeah,
panels, right? Okay. That's really
yeah,
good. That's really
absolutely.
good. Yes.
Yeah,
Well, we're gonna be like rounding it up right now, um, um, to close the video. But I want to thank you so very much for accepting to do this interview.
you're
It was
welcome,
really
buddy.
interesting, and I hope everybody feels like motivated to learn English or whatever language, in the same way that you learned Spanish, and you just proved, by speaking in Spanish, how well you do it. It's it's really, really good what you have done. So thank you once again for accepting to do this. It means a lot, and I appreciate it, and I hope everyone else will appreciate your time and you accepting to do this. All right.
Well, thank you.
So I hope you're doing well. Say hi to your family for me, and we'll be
Likewise,
talking.
man. Tell me when to say hi.
Okay.